Welcome once again. This is Crisis 169 coming to you live with a broadcast outside my job on a lovely Thursday morning. It's 6:40 Central Time. I thought about making a video about the video game Crash in 1983, and that's a Throwback Thursday. With every Thursday, I try to make a video about throwback in time. Could be a year ago, could be 30 years ago. But I'll make a video in time talking about something in history that happened that can be very misleading, untrue, maybe unfounded, and give you some pointers about what really happened to that era. In the video game Crash in '83, it's been talking about how E.T. and Pac-Man, only two games that caused the crash, how it was too many consoles, it was too many bad games. I'm going to put it to rest and tell you one thing. E.T. and Pac-Man did not cause the crash of '83. It didn't happen. If that happened, then when Scalebound was canceled, the Xbox should have gone completely under. Because it had one game cause the crash, and one game caused the crash of the Xbox. One X, so hope not. And I'm still playing Shadow of Tomb Raider. Great game. And when I beat that game, I'll get a picture of you, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, maybe months. I'm a very slow player and things. I sleep a lot when I get home because I just crash out a lot. Sometimes with my Xbox on. So, if you enter my gamer tag in and find me on, it's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I ain't doing nothing. I'm probably asleep. Sleeping with this console on. Not bad or good, just depends, whatever. I left it on one time for 24 hours. It was still fine. 1X. But anyway, though, moving on. So, what caused the gaming crash of 1983? I was 2 years old. I was born in 81. November 3rd, 81. So, in 83, I was only 2 years old. I wasn't even aware of gaming. I didn't know. All I knew was I cry, I get food. I cry, I get pampered. I cry, I get my diaper changed. That's all I knew. That's all any babies know. You cry, you get something. Food. They're pampered, or oh my God, you're stinky. Diaper change. So no, I wasn't old enough to understand what it was. Around 86, 87, I started hearing this, theatrical, this, mysterious crash of gaming. Like how it's like, oh my God, it's like William Shakespeare, like, thou shalt a party, so she saw the game, and has an Atari cartridge in his hand. So, I'm sorry, I killed that. Anyway, though. But you know what I mean. It sounds kind of dramatic. Like William Shakespeare kind of play, like it's like the gaming crash. Ooh, what was it? How did it happen? What caused it? Oh my God, I want to know. What it be? What's going to be? What's going to be? What's going to be? What's going to find out? Come to find out, it wasn't just two games on the school bus. Two games caused the crash. I still play Atari when I was younger. I remember causing enough when I was 8, 6, 5, and 6, or 6, 7. Playing Atari. I had no problem with it. I played Pac-Man and E.T. Didn't understand it now. I was playing a game. No one does that age. No, I wasn't quoting Macbeth or anything, so obviously, I wasn't that advanced. But I knew how to play a game. I knew when I was playing Space Invaders or whatever, I was say, hey, I'm a little dot in the bottom shooting a little laser light, that little evil aliens. Yay, That's for me. Like, yeah, it's cool. So, no big deal there. Now, around 87, 88, I started realizing, what the gaming crash is about, started researching it, reading it, and going to the library in school. And library in school had a lot of gaming articles back then. I mean, it was really interesting. Surprising. Nowadays, you can't buy anything on gaming libraries. I think it's an evil one. Just like Ozzy Osbourne, it's being told it's corrupting the young, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm looking at it in Massachusetts and up north in the 80s, they actually cared about people's education, and you had a lot more educational things to go to. Nowadays, you go on your phone, boom, here it is. Game Crash 83, right there. Back then, I had to go there, and I did it in my downtime. We lived on a military installation where school was right on a hill, top of the hill, and I go to the library with my mother every Saturday because it was open the weekends because it was one of those libraries that was the school was open, only the library was, but the school was not. So you can go in on the weekend, spend like 5-6 hours in the weekend. They think they're closed Sunday, so on Friday, Saturday you can only go. Only Saturday you can go. I read books about and my mom wanted me to read other books other than gaming stuff like um, Cat in the Hat. She wanted to read some advanced stuff like Shakespeare because they had it up there, and she read with me. So I've learned a lot about William Shakespeare by a young early age, and then she's like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." I love Hamlet. I love the movie and the book. I read the book and I loved both. Like 3-4 movies came out. Hamlet, I loved all 3-4 of them, even though some people say it's just risque and some of them just kind of passe. Of course, where's Mark going? Mark's going on a rabbit trail, like a squirrel. I'm just how I am. Okay, going back on the road now. The gaming crash in '83 happened not because of 1 or 2 games or 1,000 consoles. The gaming crash happened because developers wanted more games. Developers ordered more games than they could sell. And yes, they were bad games lost in the shuffle. And yes, consumer confidence did wing a lot when you had the gaming crash happened. When you had the gaming crash happen around after holiday of '83, it crashed because yes, consumer confidence was very low in gaming. It was a fad. You could not make it any more of a fad back then. Arcade systems were failing because they wanted to charge $1. $1 is not a casual spend. It's a big spend. Quarters a casual spend. I can go down. I got like probably a couple bucks of quarters right here. And I can go to arcade if they had them in some town and play arcade games for hours on end. But we don't have that because it's not no longer any more income of a quarter. You need $1 now because it's very hard, or 50 cents, very hard to tell people put 4 quarters in or even 2 quarters in, 50 cents in to play a game. It's not a casual spin anymore. So now you're getting to the hardcore people who play games. If you're not a hardcore person who plays games, then you're not going to be spending that dollar to do it. If you're like a business suit guy who's a yuppie who is conscious about money, but not conscious about money in a way that you're not nickel and diming going out with a girlfriend or going to buy a new pair of clothes or a car or whatever, but you don't want to spend $1 in a gaming machine, that hurts the gaming market because it doesn't help. Because a lot of the games you see on consoles back in that time were actually arcade hits. Sega had the most of them, and Atari had them too. Nintendo didn't have a lot of arcade games, hardly any at all. So what helped deflate the game market was not the fact that it was an oversaturation. It's like you too much rain in an area, you flood. Too much snow, and at the end of the snow season, it floods. And that's what it was. It got flooded, it got bloated, and before you knew it, the corpse of gaming was almost flatline. Went flatline for about 2 years. It died for 2 years. Where gaming on PC was considered king. PC took the lead. PCs got cheaper. PCs were cheaper by the sense that they weren't costing thousands of dollars anymore. Maybe $900 to $1,000, maybe $1,200. Back then, an Apple II, today is laughable now. Back then, Apple II was considered the best thing in the world since sliced bread. I played on an Apple II and III, so I know what people are saying. It's a great PC. But going back to it though, back to the story at hand here, you have people here who don't understand that gaming was not something that just happened. The gaming crash, the gaming was a niche for a need for at the time. And when 2600 came out in 75, it was considered, oh my god, no Marvel. Great, you can play games at home. Keep Johnny and Susie out of the arcade with all those weird people and bring them home. And that was pretty good for the parents. We can. And of course, they weren't exact arcade ports, no. But they were close enough for the kids like myself, little scrubs themselves, they didn't really understand or care. Or take a little triangle and shoot lasers at a weird looking rock and say, yeah, we're saving the galaxy, saving the planet Earth. And now it was. But with the oversaturation of a game being ordered, bad games being made, and people not buying games as much as they do now, it was gonna wear down the old aspect of the fact that it's weighing itself down. It was imploding as it was growing. It was imploding. So in a sense, when the game market exploded, it started imploding. Just as fast. So doing this and doing this, and sooner or later, it's just this stopped growing and it started imploding even faster because now you have no way of taking, making that gap bigger. So now you have problems with that situation. On top of that, you have, it can be too many consoles out there, but then again, there's no regulations on games really though. So you couldn't regulate a game on a 20% and say, Activision can't make this. Yes, when Activision won the court battle to put games 2600, they opened the Pandora's box of many things to come. That being a lot of games from companies who didn't make games. So, if Parker Brothers, for example, or Mattel, will make game division, and they spend tons of money to LucasArts, or George Lucas, saying, we want to make a game for Empire Strikes Back, for example, and they'll spend $20-30 million in it because they have disposable income to do that. Look at the best games, but not knowing how to make games, they'll make the so-called worst games. I played this Empire Strikes Back. I mean, and of course it wasn't terrible to me, being a little scrub back then, but to a lot of purists, it was garbage. So, but that's how James Bond or E.T. made by Atari. It was rushed out. Pac-Man was rushed out by Atari. Hell, Pac-Man clones look better on other consoles than Pac-Man itself did back in that time. So being said, many factors in just bad games cause the demise of the gaming crash. Upgrading your console, whole new concept that was not really known back then. Nowadays it's constant new. Every 4 or 5 years, boom, there's an Xbox OG, Xbox 360, Xbox One, One S, One X, PS1, PS2, PS2 Slim with built-in hard drive and broadband internet. PS3, PS3 Slim, PS4, PS4 Slim, PS4 Pro. There's many variations of games out, consoles out there. But back then, in 83, 82, 81, 82, 83, it was like, wait a second. No, I'm using an example. I had this same thing for 25 years. Had this car for, say, 10, 12 years. Why are you telling me after 2 to 4 years, I got to trade in this one console for a new one? And didn't make sense to them. Even in the Nintendo era, I'm skipping ahead a little though. When Super Nintendo came out, parents were mad because the original cartridge wouldn't work on the Super Nintendo for the NES. Why am I paying you more money, Nintendo, for a console upgrade where you can't put it in your other console? That's, see, even in the 80s and 90s, people didn't understand that. And that's saying something back there. And that is saying something. That's saying a lot. That what caused the minds of gaming wasn't 100% games. It was 100% because people didn't know that you had to upgrade and change with the times. Because ColecoVision, television, these game consoles out there, some of them were more advanced than 2600. And of course, for certain attachments, you could play 2600 games on them. Because they're all the same hardware practically. Because, there's no patent back then. So if you can copy the 2600, you can make your own clone 2600 and call it something different. And some of them were a lot better than the other one that came out. So in hindsight, 2020, if Atari wanted to patent it, they should have made it only, because they use different parts. They could have used only certain parts and been patented, and bam, it could have been Atari, 1X instead of Xbox 1X. For sure, that would make no sense at all, but you understand what I'm saying, right? There is no one determinate factor of why the gaming crashed in '83. It's multiple things over a short time that happened. Failure to adopt a policy on bad unlicensed games. Failure to change with the times, with upgrading console, make you understand how upgrading a console. Public needs to understand why upgrading a console is normal. Patenting your console and making sure you don't just make a bunch of clones. Have an open door to make a bunch of clones. These 3 or 4 things I mentioned here could have kept gaming going forever. But somewhere up in the sky above, they didn't want that. Because of that, now we have an Xbox One X, we have the Xbox One S, we have PS4 Pro, we have a lot of game systems. But it took the sacrifice of the Ataris and ColecoVisions and all the other consoles to die off and be pretty much bought out by their companies 30 years later to have all this fancy stuff. So guys, sorry to get going soon. But so guys, when people tell you they don't understand why gamers like myself are so anal about bad games, or anal about the fact that why we have the strict controls, or why we don't have weird games coming out on consoles anymore. That's why we already had that era. What makes it better for all of us is that the console market is better than it was. No doubt it's better than it was. Console gaming is better than it was back, 10 10 years ago. So I appreciate having the Xbox One X. I appreciate having the PS4 and the Pro and the things. I do miss, the days gone by where you pop a game and you have used your imagination. Watching this Thursday, Gaming Crash 83, a little program of having discussions and topics. I'll see you guys later.